demonstrating that our patient had a Trendelenburg procedure for varicosities in the right leg 7 years ago. As you can see from stab avulsions, that's the evidence lower part of the leg. One of the coincidental findings that we found on the right hand side is when we go and examine the sapheno-femoral junction, and if you come and have a look where I am over here, you will see that there is an epigastric connection. So there we have the common femoral artery, the superficial femoral artery, but above that you can very clearly see venous high flow in the area where a crossectomy would have been done. Now we're going to change the pro transverse to linear. You'll notice that there is a high flow from an epigastric branch in the area where a crossectomy was done. We're going to trace this further up. We're now well above the inguinal crease, and notice the high flow in an epigastric vein. If you look this side, you can see how high up I am. You'll notice that we are about 5 centimeters superior to the inguinal crease. We're now closer to 10 centimeters above the inguinal crease. Alright, so you'll notice we are going to cannulize this vein, and if you look on the ultrasound that aside, you'll see our intracath is now directly in the vein, and you can just see the backflow from the catheter here. Come back and look at this side. And what we very clearly demonstrate over here is this high flow is venous blood. We're now going to introduce a sclerosant with a patient in Trendelenburg. We know that we are in the vessel, and I'm just feeling the tip to make sure that I don't have any extravasation, which makes it a little awkward to use the probe at this time. And we introduce our foam into the area. I'm going to keep the catheter in situ to see if we have backflow. That is very often an indication that the system has high pressure in it and is actually fighting against the vasoconstricting effect of the foam, which you can clearly see here. I think these signs together clearly indicate that we may very well have an arteriovenous anomaly. But once the vasoconstriction property of the foam comes to the fore, we should notice that as the venous component shrinks closed, the arterial component can no longer short circuit into the vein. And that seems to be the case. If we look now, we'll see that there's a little bit of backflow, but it's definitely decreasing. We'll just keep some more pressure on there. I'm going to remove the catheter because the catheter itself can keep the area bleeding and the vessel patent. I'm removing the catheter. This will also give the sclerosant an opportunity to move in a distal direction and close the area closer to where the crossectomy took place. We will now just put a little compression on the area. That's fine. Now, looking at the area that we've just introduced the foam sclerosant into, go and have a look on the screen, and you will notice the hyperechoic area in the center of the screen over there. Now moving distally back down towards the feet, you can see where the vessel filled. You can see where we went in higher up. You still see the starry night appearance from some of the sclerotants still in the blood vessel, but what you can clearly see is that we have succeeded in closing that abnormal high flow back into the sapheno-femoral junction, where we had the remnants of a problem following the previous crossectomy. If I compress the vessel, you'll see there's no longer any flow in the venous return to the sapheno-femoral junction in the groin. What you do also see is evidence of foam having tracked distally, which is what we wanted. So we stayed away from the proximity of the major superficial femoral artery and the deep venous return, and we were able to effect closure of the high flow vein and demonstrate that the artery is still fully functional, the deep circulation is fully functional, but the superficial, that epigastric branch, shows evidence of some foam in it, but it is essentially closed. Success.